live. Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott. You are in the Prog Corner where we are celebrating yet another Sunday live Prog stream with an all-star cast. Let me introduce to you the usual suspects and also a brand newbie below me, at least what I'm seeing here on the screen. Below me here, it's Zoltan. Vamos, Zoltan. How are you, man? Greetings. What's going on? Introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm Zoltan Vamus. I am the drummer and I would say partial songwriter in some regards in the progressive rock band Benjamin's Kite. We have been working on music for about 7 years now. We are getting set to potentially get something out soon. Nothing confirmed yet, but we have 3 technically albums too. And Antediluvian Euphonies and Ingenious Cacophonies. I've been doing YouTube for quite a long time. I believe almost 10 years now.
Has it been that long, really?
Yeah, but my content has gone through so many different styles.
Okay.
I was not a drum cover YouTuber until about 6 years ago, and I started doing prog reviews and all those kinds of things about 4 years ago, and that's when I started the Worst to Best series. And
the one thing you're going to have to get used to being on a live stream with me is me interrupting you left and right. It's Pontus in the Peanut Gallery. Pontus, you are locked and loaded for next week's episode. The people have spoken. The people have demanded your return. So, yes, we do have Pontus on next week's live stream where we are talking about the Beatles. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, what else you got for the people, Zoltan?
I don't think I have very much more other than
hey, they're gonna love you. The peeps are gonna love you. It's gonna be awesome. My normal cast of characters include the great Wayne from Pocketful of Heap from Alberta, Canada. The Canadians actually are outnumbering us here. This ain't right, man. What's going on, Wayne?
Oh, not much. Just I've been working on a bunch of new music lately and writing with the guy and hoping to get something out here probably within the next few weeks and just kind of see where it goes from there. Just pretty much a studio project.
There you go. Sounds good, man. I can't wait. Hammond, Oregon, and who knows what this guy's going to be up to. I know what Cody's up to because he does these drum videos that are just like awesome. And it's like, why isn't this guy in a band right now and just killing it? But here he is killing it on YouTube instead and on various radio shows you got. Why don't you tell the people all the stuff you got going on, Cody?
Thanks, man. Thanks for that that wonderful introduction. Yes, every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern, I am over on the Prog Radio with Kevin and great company over there. I do about an hour plus show over there on Prog Radio. Then every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm on Deep Nuggets Radio. That's www.deepnuggets.com. And I do a whole 3-hour show, music extravaganza, mostly prog, but, sometimes there's metal and classic rock and stuff in there too. And I've been doing some cool videos up on my channel here on Brockway's Vinyl Bites. I've done some stuff with Tara, done some cool live streams and things like that. So you got to check it out. And I'm really happy that we have a fellow Ontarian on here who also plays drums, man. That is amazing.
Cool. Hey, Cody,
I've seen some of your work too. It's great.
He's good, man. Right, Zoltan? Yeah. Cody, answer Dane's question. He's wanting to know prog or non-prog for today's festivities.
I've got a healthy mix of music that I love. Most of it, there's lots of stuff that is prog, and then there's stuff that's probably not prog with a capital P, but I think it's more than made up for.
I like that. Hey, if it's music, it qualifies, right?
I got to say one thing to Zoltan because he's so close. I have a record store here out in Caledonia. We're called Second Chance Records, 20 Argyle Street North. So if you're ever, you're from Guelph, that's not too far.
I gotta check that out for sure. 100%.
For sure. I would love to meet you, man. Come on down to the store. That'd be great.
That would be awesome. Absolutely. Fantastic.
Well,
That's
you
gotta
know,
be okay.
Antonio, we just answered that question. It's the Prague Corner. So, absolutely, we're going to be looking at this through a Prague Corner kind of purview. A Prague lover's vision is always going to be rose tinted towards Prague rock, as well it should be. My particular list, I think I've got 3 that are definitely Prague, one that's Prague adjacent, and one that's kind of also Prague adjacent. Who am I kidding? They're all kind of Prague. Anyway, next up, all the way from Ireland. Oh my goodness, the co-host of the hottest show on YouTube. And I say that with not even a little bit of bitterness in my mouth. No, I'm not looking at your numbers saying, hey, they're getting perilously close, way too close to where I live and breathe. But I'm so proud of you, Tara. It's Tara from Spin in Prague, everybody.
I wouldn't have been able to do it without Ollie supporting me. So thank you very much. Like, it's great the way it just flew. The numbers just flew up. I think people just come on to laugh at the banter between the two of us.
Yeah.
Mainly, so.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
that last video you did when your dad is talking about time signatures and all that stuff, and then you hit him with the lightsaber. That's what it's like over here. That's honestly.
Yeah. I know. I should have brought the lightsaber in with me today so I could just hold it.
Well, we are still a little salty about the lack of fish face paint in our Marillion stream, which did fantastic numbers, but I have a sneaking suspicion would have done just a little bit better if Tara would have showed up with some face paint on. But we're happy.
I might show up in future out of nowhere just wearing the face paint. So
yeah.
Well, then you better let me know. I'll come as Alice Cooper.
No, I'm just going to pop up and not say anything to any in the face paint. All right, I'll make up for it. And
finally, occupying the final slot up here, it's none other than Scott from Myth of Logic. Apparently, I say it too fast. Every time I say it, and people are like, what in the world are you even saying, Myth of Logic? And people don't get it. Myth of Logic. As if your name hasn't appeared 100 times in the live chat area. They should know who you are by now. Scott, how are you? What's going on today?
I'm doing real fine. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I have neglected to mention in other recent appearances, I do have a YouTube channel. Matter of fact, I have 2. There's the Myth of Logic YouTube channel has lyric videos and other things that I've put together. And then I have another one for my guitar and amp repair business, Granville Guitars, which has a lot more content. That one's been up for 10 years or more. That's strictly guitar nerd stuff, but it's out there if you go look for it. But yeah, I'm doing great. Just happy to be here. Glad to see all your smiling faces.
Oh, we're happy to have you here, man.
Yeah. Gonna be a good one today. Everybody seems to be in a good mood today, so that's awesome. And as usual, what we are going to do is we're going to go around the horn and we're going to give everybody a chance to make an absolute fool of themselves, to come up with all the wrong answers, and then we get to ostracize them, make them feel bad. This is not a safe space, boys and girls. No, it is.
No, the war zone is open.
I kid. And we will be very super, hyper, uber vigilant, making sure that the trolls do not creep into the chat. So one of these days I might actually have a mod on board, because we did have a troll creep up last week. And that's actually, it doesn't make me too mad. It just means that the Prague Corners, we're at that level where we actually have to think about stuff like that. And I apologize, Cody, because you kind of got in the firing line of that last week, and I hope you didn't was making light of it in any way, shape, or form. We don't play that game, man. It's nothing but pure positivity here. So in honor of that, we're gonna let you go first this week, man. Cody, you're on a desert island, right? You got a turntable. Somehow you've got electricity for said turntable, or maybe it's solar powered. I don't know. You got a turntable and you can take 5 records with you. What do you got?
I want to say I really appreciate you helping me out last week when that guy was just being relentlessly kind of nasty in the comments, and you took care of it. So hey, you stand behind your people, and we are here for you too. So thank you, Scott. Much love to you with that. I should have pulled out vinyl then for this, but I actually pulled out CDs because they're kind of more.
Hey, that works too. Yeah, you somehow have electricity, so you can play a CD player, I guess, too. Yeah.
I got some honorable mentions I kind of want to whiz through first. Honorable mention number 1 is a nice long album. So I'm on a desert island. It is a longer record, and it is arguably the greatest concept album of all time. Arguably. It's Pink Floyd, The Wall. I'm sorry, Wayne. I know you have a specific track listing for this one. I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, it's been a long time since I've heard it, but I know that I could definitely be happy with this on a desert island because there's so much there to unpack. No matter how many times you heard it, it is just so good all the way through. Scott's dancing over there.
I'm a troll. I don't know. That was my troll dance, I guess.
This next one is probably inspired by the fact that I haven't been able to stop listening to it for about the last week. But it's Jethro Tull, Aqualung. I just, for some reason, I started listening to this like a week ago, and I haven't been able to stop. I mean, it's so good, and I love it. And I could listen to this on repeat. Like, one of the things you have to think about with lists like this is albums that you've probably heard a million times and could hear a million times more and still not get tired of. That
is actually a really, really, really good point, Cody. What is the best predictor of future behavior or future desire? A careful study of the past. So yeah, a record that you've listened to 1,000 times, you think maybe you'd be sick of by now, but that might be a good indicator that you might have 1,000 more in you. It's a good call, yeah.
One more that I would like to mention that I forgot to pull out is the Police, Synchronicity. I don't care how many times I've heard Every Breath You Take. I can hear it 1,000 times more. I love it. Okay.
I would argue that might be the worst song on that album, and that's a perfect pop record.
I agree.
That whole album is just stunning. Yeah,
I know. I totally. Hey, Tara knows how I feel about this one.
Yes, he loves it.
Next up is Dream Theater's Train of Thought. This is just still an honorable mention.
Of all the Dream Theaters.
Nice and heavy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll go along with that one.
Absolutely. That's not their easy listening album, is it, Cody?
No. All the songs are 10 minutes plus, except for Vacant, which is 2.5 minutes. But all the songs are around the 10-minute mark and over. I mean, you got As I Am, obviously In the Name of God. This is just a fantastic album. This was a game changer for me. So honorable mention, yes. If I had a top 10, this would probably be in there, but we're still in the honorable mention. Okay. This is a bit more in the sort of thrash metal territory, but I'm going to mention it anyway because you guys know I love Metallica. This is the Black Album.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, yeah, I could have gone with actually very many of their albums. I could have even gone with the new one too because I love it. But this one, it's on vinyl, it's a double album. It is a bit longer than all the ones that came before it, like Master of Puppets, about 45 minutes or so. This one is probably closer to an hour. And like I said before, I've heard this 10,000 times, and I can't get tired of it. It's the Unforgiven. I mean, sure, okay, everyone's heard Enter Sandman 10,000 times, right? But Sad But True, Through the Never, Nothing Else Matters, The Struggle Within, like it's a really, really good album. And
I contend that the first 5 Metallica albums are perfect.
Yep,
they are perfect.
I wouldn't change a single thing about the first 5. They're all different from each other. You see real progression from Kill 'Em All to Ride the Lightning to Master of Puppets to Justice for All, culminating with this monster that became like the best-selling album of the 21st century. Come on, man.
Yeah. And the case is a little cracked. I reckon that I've probably had this since I was 10 years old. But agree. Yeah, agree. And I like their newer ones too. And the last of the honorable mentions, just to speed
before you give me the last one, we got Davey Cretin in the house. We almost had him booked, by the way. But he works some weird work schedule, like right during the Sunday live streams. So one of these days, Davey, you're going to get a Sunday off, and we'll have you here on the Sunday prog stream. But I see you. I see you peeping in the peanut gallery, sir. Okay, I'm sorry, Cody.
That's okay. That's okay. This is the last of the honorable mention. Then we'll whiz through the actual top 5. It's Wingspan from Paul McCartney. It is a double CD set. It is just it's like a real sort of anthology sort of look at his time from just after leaving the Beatles up till about 1982, up till about Tug of War. That's where the cutoff is. I could have chosen
exactly where the cutoff is.
Yeah, I mean, I could have chose the pure McCartney set where he's got everything, even Flaming Pie and all that. In fact, I could have just chose Flaming Pie, but this one is a super long one, 2 full discs. Look at all the songs on that. Even with the single edits, it's still a long listen, and so that'll keep me satisfied on a desert island for sure. And every track is amazing. Okay,
I agree with that.
top 5.
Yeah.
Nice.
Again, you know what? Again, I almost picked something like Tales from Topographic Oceans. I do love that album, but this one, there's just something about this that just does something for me. I've heard it 20,000 times, and it never gets old. That part at the end of Close to the Edge, when they do that final stanza, when he does that final, now that you're fine, now that you're whole, with the long note, every hair on my body stands up every single time, effortlessly, when I hear that. And that is worthy of admission just for that moment alone, let alone the keyboard solo.
And that, boys and girls, is why the studio version is always better than the Yes Songs version, where they modulate into the wrong key to save John Anderson's voice on tour. It's horrible. Scott, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know precisely what you're talking about. He could never get to that note live.
But you know what? He's doing it now with the kid.
They are doing it at a lower key now, Scott. Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Grab a guitar and play along with it. I mean, it sounds beautiful.
I should have known.
John Anderson in any key is manna from heaven. So
that's a good call.
I don't have a problem with it.
That's a good call right there. We got Alex from the Beer and Vinyl channel in the house. Yeah, man, we need to get you back on the channel here. We need to get you back on the schedule. So we'll talk about that. So Cody was talking about that moment and Close to the Edge, and it just got me going. So
yep.
Oh yeah, and the keyboard solo is the best organ solo in history, I think, personally. Yep. And even the one on the Yes Songs is also amazing. That solo. I mean, Rick Wakeman and all of his Cape glory is just great. And the other 2 songs are obviously amazing. And You and I, it is a 10 out of 10 album from a band that at that time.
I'm not interrupting you for the 20th time or anything, Cody. But Jeff Shilka actually has brought up a very, very good point, and one that I've continually forgotten to address. And that is a very, very, very large percentage of the people that actually watch this live stream are not really watching it at all. They're listening to it. So when you're holding up a record, don't expect that people are going to know. There's no reaction, man. I don't see it. I'm listening to it. So we need to announce what we're showing, within a couple of seconds. That way, all our good folks can enjoy the full, action-packed value of this episode. Cody, continue. My apologies.
That's okay. He says to say the album names out loud, so this one is Close to the Edge.
What was that?
Smart ass.
Yeah, I know. I'm just being a goof. I warned you guys that this one would probably be on this list, and it's from 1986. It is possibly one of the most perfect pop albums ever made. But it is prog because of who it is, and it is Peter Gabriel's So album.
Ooh.
But I could have gone with any of his 8 albums, actually. I love all of them. Yeah. But this one, it's just, there's something about it. You got Daniel Lanois, who is from here on the production. He's from pretty much just up the street. And this is just an amazing record. I mean, every track on this. I mean, sure, there was many hits. In Your Eyes, obviously, one of the most beautiful love songs, but the deep cuts, this is the picture. We do what we're told. Obviously, some of these are bonus tracks exclusive to the CD. I don't think that the Excellent Birds track was on the vinyl originally. But Don't Give Up with Kate Bush. That voice again, obviously Red Rain, and seeing him play these songs live is just.
But
amazing.
You saw him this last tour, right?
I saw him on the last 2 tours. I saw him on the one with Sting and the most recent one. Oh. He was awesome. He was amazing.
You got that big money, then I guess, man. I couldn't. That's a lot.
The funny thing is, when I bought tickets for the last one, I was just kind of looking, and I was trying to see if I could finance the tickets on Ticketmaster, because sometimes they have an ability to do that, and I accidentally sent the order through, and it just was like, oh, okay, and it just took like the whole sum of the tickets off my card, so I just paid for them. But I was like, you know what? It's okay. I mean, I work 2 jobs, It's
Peter Gabriel.
And it's Peter Gabriel. I mean, the tickets were expensive, but you know what?
Life is short. Buy the tickets.
That's exactly it. And the fact that it was expensive, I don't care. Like I said, I work 2 jobs, and like I'm happy to have the experience. And the fact that I'm grateful enough to be able to pay that back, but still have the experience is a real blessing in itself. But this album is totally fantastic, and it's perfect, and I love it. And we're gonna cheat a little bit more. We're going to cheat a little bit more. We got one from Genesis, but it is the Platinum Collection.
Yeah.
Oh. Look who's here.
Eduardo. Oh, hey.
Cody, I had to come in. I saw you there. Great choice, man. Brilliant. Listen, is it okay if I join? I'll be the honorable mentions with Tara.
I think our audience demands it. Since you've shown your face, you can't really. That would be rude.
No, great to see you all, guys. I'll just get a chair and pull up.
Awesome.
All right. Well, I chose this one because I'm an avid lover of Genesis in all forms, and the fact that this one has everything from 1998 all the way back to Trespass, and it doesn't miss a beat. It has every song from the Phil Collins era, Home by the Sea, Second Home by the Sea, even Invisible Touch and all that. Yeah, I know, but then it even goes back, and it has Supper's Ready, it has The Knife, it has Counting Out Time, and it has a great selection of every bit of Genesis across 3 discs. And so if I'm being sent off to a desert island and I need to have my Genesis fix, I have to. I mean, I got the shirt, I have to have my Genesis, my favorite band.
And Mr. Wondrous is dead wrong. Actually, Gabriel did lose his Peter. Dr. Wiper took it away. And then put it in a yellow plastic shoop-de-doo, and then the Raven come down and flew away with it. So that's not true, actually.
And I gotta say one thing about this collection is that the mastering on this is done exquisitely well.
Yeah,
the mixes sound great, and the whole sound of it just there's something about this specific remaster that just sounds brilliant when you put it on a good system. And I think this might be a little bit hard to find now, this compilation, but you got to search it out if you don't have it, because it's great. Okay, then next up we have another white cover, Queen of Night at the Opera. Night at the Opera. This is literally like going to a circus. This whole album. I know it's a bit shorter, and it's probably not prog with a capital P, but at the same time, it has Bohemian Rhapsody, which is like, I mean, as overplayed as it might be, it has a whole lot in 6 minutes. It really does, and how all the other tracks sort of like segue into each other throughout this album. It's amazing. Number 2, or my second to last one. I have one more after this. Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast. Yeah, I got to fulfill my metallic side on this desert island, and it's definitely what you could consider to be prog adjacent, because a 7.5 minute track ends the album. Time changes galore. Obviously, Steve Harris likes to Steve Harris some of these things up, and 22 Acacia Avenue. About the girl,
Charlotte.
I love this album. What's that, Dermot?
Dermot knows what time
more
it is.
detail on that, Cody.
I can't hear you. What'd you say?
I said, you want to give us a bit more detail about that girl now, Cody?
Yeah, no more detail about that girl. She was not a woman you'd want to take home to meet your mama. But Cody, the big rap on Number of the Beast was always one particular song off that album. Thumbs up or thumbs down to Gangland?
Oh, I have no problem with it.
I love it. Yeah, I never understood that, but a lot of people.
This remaster, this edition has Gangland and Total Eclipse on it.
Gotta have that.
I love Bruce's scream in Gangland going into the solo where he's like, "Ah, come on! You can't not have that, man."
It's awesome.
That's the birth of the air raid siren here with Bruce Dickinson. And number 1 is my favorite album of all time. I have unabashedly said this many times that this has the greatest side 2 in all of music history, in my opinion. That doesn't have to hold any weight with anyone else, but it certainly does for me. Abbey Road, the Beatles. Yeah, and also in preparation for our video next week, this thing is absolutely perfect, this album. And I don't need to say any more because I'm gonna say a bunch next week, and I've already said a whole bunch about this album on this channel. And everyone knows it's amazing. I mean, this was sort of their final goodbye, even though Let It Be came out 6 months after. But imagine writing an album like Let It Be, not being pleased with it, then writing this in the same year.
Pretty impressive.
I couldn't imagine. There's so much talent in that band. It is unbelievable. And Golden Slumbers carry that weight into the end. It is just perfect.
Yeah,
and the writing of McCartney. No, and the writing of McCartney and Lennon and the way they make these like they would have these bits of songs. Even going back years before this, they would have these bits of songs that would they would make them work together. So they would sort of put the two pieces of songs together. So Paul would write something, John would write something, and they would find a way to make them work as a whole. It's brilliant. It
Unreal.
is.
Hey, we got Edward, otherwise known as Prague Hat, in the house. He's in the peanut gallery. Good to see you, Edward. Yeah, you also. We need to get on here one of these days. Are you guys familiar with Prague Hat at all? He's awesome.
I know Fog Hat.
Yeah, Prague Hat, not Fog Hat.
No, I love it. Prague Hat. That's a great name.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome.
Cool.
Great name.
Cool guy. He's a good old Texas boy. Talks about Prague, but he talks about a lot of other things on his channel. Yeah, one of these days we need to get him on there. But yeah, man, I am a big fan of Abbey Road. Everybody points to the side too sweet. But, the thing that gets lost in the shuffle is George Harrison's songwriting. It always kind of been, subligated or, whatever. Not really. You get one song per album, maybe two if you're lucky. Well, George knocks it out of the park with his two songs, doesn't he? My goodness gracious.
Absolutely. And that makes me think. Next week, I'm going to pull a Harold, and I'm going to pull out some of the Beatles and George Harrison box sets I got here for the next week episode.
Nice. Good job. I love the Beatles, so we are really, really excited about doing the Beatles next week here on the Prague Corner, Sunday Prague stream. Cody, good stuff, man.
Thank you.
Will be sounding pretty good. I was gonna go in order, but I can't. I can't do it. I'm sorry, Wayne. I'm sorry, Scott. I can't do it. Dermot's in the house. We got to go to Ireland. We got to go to Ireland now. I need to fix. I need to fix it. I need it right now. And
I would like to take a second. I would like to take a second to say that I love these folks. I love all of you guys. Wayne, the double Scott shot here, and of course now Zoltan to y'all are all great. But these two Irish people here, I love these guys. Spin in Prague is just great. You guys are amazing.
Thanks, Cody. Thanks. You're brilliant. You're great. No, you're all great. It's fantastic. And I'm sorry I've been missing all these Prague streams, but
yeah, you're hurting my feelings
with me on a Sunday. That's the only thing, But yeah, fantastic. And Scott from Myth of Logic, we got your package, by the way. Okay?
Excellent.
And I've listened to Surrounded by Ghosts. very strong album. There's about 4 tracks on it that I think can stand up against anything.
Oh man, I so appreciate that.
We would love to have a conversation with you sometimes.
Oh, I would love to. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate it very much.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
No, brilliant. I had to say it to you, Scott. But
thank you.
I mean, we were talking about this and which one of us would do it and what we were going to do. And Tara was going to leave it up to me, and then we were going to do it together. And then Tara was going to do it. And I got totally kind of tied up in the concept of being on the desert island. Yeah. Okay.
Me too.
So, brilliant. So I kind of blew everything then, and I said I couldn't even pick 5 albums. Okay. I had to. I stripped it right back. But Tara, do you want to go first, and then we'll do mine? It was just Cody. When I heard you picking all the honourable mentions, I thought, you know what, I can come in and be the honourable mentions in your lot. You know? Yeah. Because I know she didn't have any.
Yeah. No, I only picked 5. I challenged myself. I said
she was being a good girl.
Yeah, exactly. I always am.
Here's me pulling out greatest hits albums and things.
All right, well, I'll get started. So I have got The Tone by the Horselets in there because I would need that nostalgia and that feeling of home when I'm on the desert island. And when you're a kid here, they teach you about Cuchulainn and the myths and legends of Celtic history and stuff. And this album is all about that.
Hold on, I want to see it big. There we go. Okay.
There you go.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, I mean it would be like that feeling of home.
It out, you see. Yeah. You know, I love the covers, you know. So you've got the 2 fists. It's like
that's cool.
Yeah.
Love the mirror effect.
It's such a good album, and it would really make me feel like, oh, I miss home, and it would help with that, I suppose. Now this one.
This is cheating now.
No, it's not.
It is. This is the Cody with the 3 Genesis albums.
This is the Epic by Kamasi Washington, which is a big triple jazz album, and it is incredible. A big concept about a dream he had one night, and it is just, oh my God. I could play this for the rest of my life and not get sick of it. So,
I actually know that album.
Do you? It's unreal, isn't it? It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, we've just booked tickets to see him. He's coming to Dublin, and we're going to see him in October.
We won't be seeing that. Absolutely not. And I have gone for To Our Children's Children by the Blues. It's just a beautiful album. It would kind of help me process feelings of being stuck on a desert island, I suppose. And it's another one that I just never get sick of. Gorgeous album. Always listening to it. And now, of course, I had to cater for that side of me that's a bit mad and dark. So, which is like most of my personality anyway. I pulled out pictures that I'm
Yeah. Amazing.
Because it's just nuts. And I mean, I need that in my life. I have to have something nuts in my life. I cannot go on with life unless I've got that. And lastly, this is kind of cheating as well. But
yeah, it is. Yeah, she's some cheat.
You need a laugh. I mean, come on, like, you're sitting on a desert island. You need something to make you laugh and cheer you up. So I have pulled out Joe's Garage by Mr. Frank Zappa. And yeah, those are my picks. So off you go, sir.
If you're on a desert island, Dermot, you got to have the central scrutinizer.
Oh yeah.
All right, what you'll be doing, man? That might turn out really ugly.
Exactly. But my honourable mentions are very like what Tara chose, so there is a bit of crossover between the 2 of us. But I do have to say, what happened was I was thinking, I'm on a desert island. I'm not a big fan of seafood, lads. Okay, so I'm there now. And coconuts give me indigestion and all that sort of thing. So I couldn't be doing it. So then I thought, like, what do we need? And I remember years ago reading something by Epicurus, the ancient Greek philosopher. And he said, we need 3 things in life. He said, we need freedom, we need friendship, and we need processing, a place to sit and process the day. So what I got, and this has been mentioned in the comments. It's going to have to be.
Nice.
It's going to have to be it. And I'm sorry, Scott, if you have that chosen as well, and I've kind of interrupted you.
Beautiful.
But this will take me on a voyage. It's freedom. I can travel while sitting on the island and listening to this. I can go to all sorts of universal truths and places with it. So that's my
true.
first album. Okay.
There's a reason why you and I get along so well, Daryl.
I suppose so, yes. And my second one, then I've gone back to Mr. Zappa again. Shake Your Booty I've picked, okay? Because of friendship. And I had a friend who, when he was 18, his grandfather gave him a pub. And I used to go into the pub. We were all about 18. And we would go into the pub and he would non-stop play this album. And everybody sitting in the pub would be singing along with Bobby Brown Goes Down and everything while drinking vast quantities of Guinness. So that's my friendship, that album, right?
Awesome.
Okay. And then I need something to get into that cerebral processing place. So I've picked Lark's Tongues and Acid.
Interesting.
That's an amazing album.
So that brings me into that side of the head, okay? But then I thought, like, is there one album to rule them all? And I've picked A Love Supreme by John Coltrane. Okay, now there's I know there's something in the chat about like prog and should this be prog and everything.
Yeah.
There are kind of attributes of prog. And if I was to take A Love Supreme, it's got it all. It's an overriding concept. It's spiritual. It's philosophical. It's had a religion founded around the contents of this album. It's been referenced by what's their name? The Mahavishnu Orchestra have referenced it. Christian Vander set up Magma based on the music of this album. So get out of here, everybody. This is absolutely amazing. And this is my one album to rule them all when I'm on the desert island.
Wow,
so
genius.
There we go.
Nice one.
Okay. Thank you
Great
very
picks,
much.
man.
Genius.
Great
All of them.
picks. All of them great picks.
They were awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow, that's just awesome. And you know what? I hope you guys didn't feel singled out that I put you in that solo mode, but you know,
No.
I had to take a closer look at that Horselips album. That gatefold is too cool, and it did throw our order off a little bit, but that's all right. Wayne, you're used to, you're the old workhorse around here, man. You're used to getting whipped and treated like garbage, and underpaid, overserved, no respect whatsoever. But that's all right. You keep rolling with the punches, and you show up. Isn't that the thing the kids all say? You got to just show up, man. And Wayne's here every Sunday, taking it like a man, turning the other cheek like a good Christian too. It's my boy Wayne, and he's on the desert island now. Somehow, some way, he's got electricity, but he's got 5 records he's taken with him, and I cannot wait to see what Wayne has got cooking for us.
Well, Scott, as I told you earlier, I couldn't put it to just 5, so I am going to be the one that breaks the rule this week.
Okay.
Because of all of these albums. And to start off, how can you be on a desert island and not have one of the greatest albums about being lost on a desert island? Nude by Camel.
There you go.
Great pick.
Unbelievably
great pick.
Fantastic record. For those who don't like Andy Latimer's voice, it's perfect. He hardly sings on this record. There's only 2 songs, I believe, with actual vocals, and the rest is just this lush, free flow instrumental where it just all gels into one.
So good.
Such a fantastic record.
All that and Duncan McKay on keyboards too. Just amazing.
Oh, I could talk about that album all day. Like, that's my favorite Camel record. Number 2 for me, I know when people talk about progressive metal, especially American progressive metal, they always talk about Queensryche, Fates Warning, Dream Theater. To me, I will say, in my opinion, one of the best because they were able to be in the 80s and to just combine all these different styles, prog, hair metal, AOR, everything. For me, Gutter Ballet by Savatage.
Okay, cool.
To me, is one of those perfect albums when you talk about perfect 80s metal albums.
You know those guys, don't you, Scott?
Yeah, I know John. I've worked for John a little bit. John's a fantastic guitar player. People don't realize that because he primarily plays keyboards with the band and does most of the composing. But he did a Storytellers tour a few years back and played a bunch of guitar on that. And I worked on a few of his guitars before he left. His longtime bass player, Jason Jennings, is a good buddy of mine. Yeah, but I've been into Savatage since Sirens. You know, I bought that new with the original cover way back in the day.
I don't think people really take them all that serious anymore because, of course, you know, the whole Trans-Siberian thing that happened and kind of overshadowing the greatness that was Savatage, and really very forward-thinking band. They were doing that kind of stuff when a lot of people were doing something completely different. They were one of the trailblazers of their time, weren't they?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Wayne. I just knew Scott knew them cats, so I wanted to hear some story time with Scott.
John Oliva, probably one of the most criminally underrated vocalists ever, and Chris Oliva's guitar playing is just out of this world.
Sick.
Yeah. Chris was an artist.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me, and with this list, I tried to kind of think of it as albums I could listen to forever that nobody really talks about because I figured like the big ones would always be mentioned. The World by Pendragon.
Ooh. Oh, nice one.
Nice pull.
My dad will be happy to hear that. He loves that band.
Really?
Yeah.
There's an absolutely killer epic on it called Queen of Hearts. One of my all-time favorite epic songs. Talking about Marillion last week, and I always thought it would probably never have happened. The most logical guy to probably have replaced Fish would have been Nick Barrett of Pendragon. Would have been their Sammy Hagar, where you go from like David Lee Roth, Sammy Hagar. Would have went from Fish to Nick Barrett because I think
makes sense, right? If you think about the vocal stylings and everything, and the bands were similar. I wonder why that never happened, or maybe they talked and something happened behind the scenes, type of thing, you know?
Yeah. Next on my list, number 4, The Wake by IQ.
Oh,
there you go, Tara.
Interesting pick.
Yeah,
just an absolutely killer album. That bass on that album, wow! Like how it starts off with just that group, just that bass line, and I'm like, wow, these guys are awesome.
A lot to love about
number
IQ.
5 for me, going back to the 70s. For Girls Who Grow Plump in the Night by Caravan.
Great album. Great choice, Wayne. Yeah,
so
brilliant.
good.
Nice.
Just a killer album. Like you can put it on, and Canterbury is one of those scenes that I haven't really delved too far into, but everything I've heard, I love, whether it be Soft Machine, Caravan. But what I love about Caravan is they do have that hooky, poppy kind of sound at times.
Yeah.
It's not like too far out there.
Right on.
Yeah,
Number
you also,
5.
you also get the impression they don't take themselves too seriously, which is brilliant.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, we're just going out, we're making music, we're having fun.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Next one for me, Spartacus by Triumvirate.
Nice. Oh, I love it.
Always with the
Unfamiliar.
deep pulls, Wayne. Always with the deep pulls.
Yeah, just a killer
Great
record.
band.
R.I.P.
subscribe to
Helmut
Lions to-
Poland. What a great talent. bass player, singer, was on Spartacus and the one before that, Illusions of a Double Dimple. Amazingly talented guy. For whatever reason, he quit the band, was working on a solo album. He was listening to demos of his solo album whilst running the car in his garage, and it was a suicide. Very, very sad. That guy had so much talent. Love Triumvirate.
Yes.
Next one on my list is, you could say whether it is prog or not, but This Is What You Want, This Is What You Get by PIL.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't know that one.
I don't think I know that one either.
Image Limited. So good. I probably would have gone with Metal Box because it's longer. Wobble. Oh, you know what time it is, Tara. I love that early PIL, but yeah,
John Lydon, probably one of the most progressive of the punk scene, and really carried that forward into PIL, where you can go anywhere from avant-garde to world music, everything in between. Next one, Ghost Teen by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
Nick Cave.
Right on.
Just wrote a whole album after the death of his son Arthur, and said it was his inspiration to get over it and kind of deal with it. And the elements on there are progressive elements where you listen to this and you're like, wow, this is actually a really darn good record. I just came across it just by accident and listened to it and just couldn't stop listening to it. Such well-produced record. Next one, Vespertine by Bjork.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where if you're talking about probably one of the most creative pop artists ever, has to be Bjork, because her way of combining electronic in with industrial, in with almost minimalist instruments at times, and to always vocally just be different and always kind of evolving. Like, I heard a lot of people say you have to listen to her entire discography in order, because it's quite astounding. And I have to say Vespertine is a fantastic record.
Great.
Right on. Cool.
And the final one for me, The Intermountain Flame by the Mahavishnu Orchestra.
How cool.
Where if you're talking about, I thought about putting Zappa, but if you almost want to take Zappa and supercharge it, got the Mahavishnu Orchestra. Some of their songs are just killer. The primal rhythms to it at times. Jan Hammer on keys.
Yeah.
What more can be said?
Crazy.
And for one honorable mention, I'll throw it out there for just pure primal, John Coltrane, Interstellar Space.
Nice.
It's no more than John Coltrane and a drummer, and just the pure energy of the drums mixed with his just whatever he's playing at the time. It just really works, and it's a really hard album to get into, but once you do it and you just practice on this whole primal rhythm, it's such a great listen.
Cool. Right on.
So that's my list.
Wow.
That's a unique list, man.
I should say so, right? I mean, Cody, that's probably the most eclectic one we've had so far, right?
Well, that's
pretty out there
from Wayne.
Yeah, well, let's see. The jury is, of course, still out. We've got the one, the only Scot from Myth of Logic. He's going to give us the albums that he would take onto a desert island if he had nothing but a turntable, a little bit of electricity, and 5 records. Yeah, I do have. Do you have props? Do you want to go big on this, Scott?
I do have some props.
All right,
all but one.
Like it or not, the whole world is going to get the full Monty. Here we go.
Well, for starters, I put a lot of thought to this when Scott announced it. Desert Island, well, first of all, I hate to fly, and I'm afraid of boats. So the chances I end up on a desert island are slim and none. So I changed it to Zombie Apocalypse.
I feel you on that, Scott. I feel you.
So in the zombie apocalypse, I can't go anywhere. Maybe I've got generator power or whatever. But to me, if you're going to pick, these have got to be those albums that maybe aren't even your favorites, but the ones that you have been hopelessly entranced with and enamored by for long periods of time. And my top 5 that I've picked, I'm going to mention my honorable mentions later. I'm going to go down them very fast, but my top 5, these are those albums that have just entwined themselves around me for an extended period of time. Some more than others, but yeah. At number 5, I have Grace for Drowning by Steven Wilson.
That is a phenomenal record.
An absolutely stunning piece of art. It's when we went to see him on the Raven tour, and we saw him at a small place over here in St. Petersburg that holds maybe 800 people. And it was just stunning. I remember him talking about Raider 2, and I had listened to the album a bit and really didn't know what that song was about. Well, he said, well, this next song is about something that we British don't do very well, but you Americans do very well. And that is serial killers. And he just let it hang there, and the entire audience was just, oh no, really? Is that what it's about? I grew up in northeastern Kansas while Dennis Rader was wreaking havoc as the BTK killer. So that resonated with me a lot. But this particular album, I went on a bender with it for a couple of months where it was over and over and over again. It's so gorgeous, and it's so haunting, and it's so perfect in its artistry on every level. Production, songwriting, performances. It's absolutely stunning.
Have you been to the Dolly Museum, Scott?
Many times. I go there.
Awesome?
I go there to restore my soul. It's
amazing.
It feeds my soul. So yes, I have.
Yeah.
At number 5, I've got a variety of copies of this next one. At number 5, Million Town by Frost.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Woo.
Great pick, man.
Yeah, Million Town. Again, it was another album that I was absolutely obsessed with when it first came out, when it was the only Frost album. Again, so just to my ear, so well written, so powerful, so melodic, and as proggy as it gets, my friends. Nothing is proggier, with a capital P, the style prog, not the term progressive. Prog, just unabashedly interesting song structures, fantastic vocals, great playing, produced to the nth degree. Million Town by Frost. If you don't know it, seek it out. You should know it.
Oh, that's a great album, man. I love that band.
I love that band. I love that album.
And how about a little shout out to Andy Edwards and John Jowett?
Oh,
absolutely.
What a rhythm section.
The material is so dense, but it's so dynamic. It'll go from a whisper to an absolute rage in a heartbeat, and that's become one of their stocks in trade, the band Frost. All of their stuff is excellent. Million Town might not be my favorite Frost record.
Really?
But I think that honor has to go to Falling Satellites. But
yeah,
Million Town just held me enraptured for an extended period of time. That was,
yes, sir.
Yeah, it was like falling in love.
It is. Yep, exactly.
Anyway, at number 3, an album that many of you may not know. This is True Stories by the great David Sanchez. Hang on a sec here. I'm going to take this thing out here so it doesn't reflect.
A little bit of glare. There we go.
The great David Sanchez and his band at the time was called Tone. The album was produced by Eddie Offord, a man that most of you know as having produced quite a few Yes records and Emerson, Lake and Palmer, a bunch of other stuff.
That was not Hand Cannot Erase was the first pick. It was actually Grace for Drowning, right?
Grace for Drowning. Yes, I'm sorry. Did I not say that?
No, Stevie G in the comments just didn't.
Oh yeah, no. Grace for Drowning is.
We are We are user friendly, man. We care about our people here. We answer questions. That's why it's a live stream, right? Or else we can just do this, pre-record it. No, man, you have direct access to the great, brilliant mind of Scott Davis. You should pay big bucks for that. You're getting it for free right here on the Prod Corner.
Anyway,
if you do want to pay some big bucks, you can become a member of the Prod Corner.
That's right.
Yes, you can, and you should.
Thank you.
You should subscribe. Anyway, David Sanchez, keyboard player, came up with Bruce Springsteen of all people in his early career and broke away and started making very proggy albums. True Stories is just a breathtaking masterpiece. Alex Ligertwood was the singer who sang in Santana for quite a bit. He did a bunch of other sessions with other folks. He sang on 1 or 2 songs on Industry Standard by the Dregs. Wonderful high Steve Winwood style tenor, just powerful singer. It's very powerful music, keyboard heavy, sounds awesome. Eddie did a great engineering job on it. Once again, True Stories by David Sanchez. It's kind of a dig to find, but go look for it. You will not be this
Peanut
satisfied.
Gallery's in agreement. A lot of David Sanchez fans around
Oh
here.
yeah, it's great stuff. All right, I'm up to number 2 on my main 5 here. I broke something of a rule. I went with one greatest hits package, and if you know me at all, you know this has got to be in there.
Oh man, nice one.
Whoa.
I had, when this came out, this is the 3 CD version. For years, I wore out the 2 CD version. I don't know how you wear out a CD, but you can. There was a 6-month period of my life. I would come into work to my workbench and work on my repairs and play music while I was working all day long for 6 months. ELP every day. I kept waiting to get tired of it. It just lived in my CD player every day. I push play and I go, I wonder, is this the day that I'm finally tired of this? And it just didn't come and didn't come and didn't come. And it kept going and kept going up until that point, which was probably about, I'm going to say 10, 12 years ago. If you'd have asked me who my favorite band was, I probably would have said Rush. They were my childhood favorites on through my 20s and 30s. But at that moment, all of my childhood memories of Emerson, Lake and Palmer flipped that switch. And as of today, right now, as we're speaking, my favorite band is Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And this is gold. It's absolute gold. The architects of prog, or one of them, of course, there are many architects of prog, but pretty hard to knock that stuff. So at number 2 for me, Anthology by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. All right, probably come as no shock what number 1 is. Let me rearrange some stuff to get here. I have so many formats of this record.
What's it gonna be? Oh, Kevin Gilbert.
Oh. Kevin Gilbert, The Shaming of the True.
Wow.
For my money, and I put my money where my mouth is, I have several limited edition issues of that, and I've got a number of different CDs of it. It's genius. It is, for my money, the best album ever recorded, period. And it's proggy as hell. And Kevin Gilbert, to my way of thinking, which is my way of thinking, a genius in all respects. Lyricist.
You know, we've had a panelist on here before, Kyle. Kyle is a huge fan of Kevin Gilbert. We'll go to bat for him. And I peep Rhyme Signatures in the house. The great Ian from Rhyme Signatures. What a fantastic YouTube channel. If you haven't checked out what he's got going on over there, one of my favorite YouTube hosts, just fantastic. And I don't think I've seen him creeping around the Peanut Gallery before. So welcome. Thank you for being here. Another cat. We need to get you up here on this live stream one of these days. That would be awesome. I'm sorry, Scott. Continue.
Yeah, so Shaming of the True. It was an album, if you don't know about Kevin Gilbert, was heavily involved with the Tuesday night music club that gave Sheryl Crow her first success, and consequently, unfortunately, died by his own hand accidentally. And it's a fantastic album. He had not finished it at his death, but he left copious notes and Nick DiVirgilio and several other associates were able to go in and actually finish the record after his death.
Incredible.
And so it's poignant, it's topical, it's identifiable. Unlike a lot of so-called, he called it a rock opera in his lifetime in several places. So there it is. But it's a concept album that actually works. It actually has a story that everyone can identify with about hopes and dreams, and somehow all of it falls apart, but you're okay at the end of it. And it's just a masterpiece. Shaming of the True by Kevin Gilbert.
Beautiful.
My number one. Let me run down my honorables real quick.
Please do.
Very quickly. The first UK album, Essential.
Nice.
Oh, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Going for the One by Yes. My
Phenomenal
favorite Yes
again.
album.
Amazing.
Duke by Genesis. It's
Yes.
it's still a masterpiece to me.
Masterpiece.
I absolutely
Easy.
love it.
Easy.
Avalon by Roxy Music.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That
yeah.
album got me through some very hard times in my life.
Beautiful.
Very depressing times, and it was on loop for a while in my head and in my life. And
Sonically perfect.
it is. The Night Fly by Donald Fagen.
Sonically perfect.
It's in my car right now. Again, I tried to take the non-prog albums out of the 5. Space Revolver by the Flower Kings.
fantastic.
Vienna by Ultravox.
Yeah.
Another masterpiece.
Indeed.
I love IQ, and this album
Mhm.
nearly cracked the top 5 for me. And it would have been hard to choose one IQ record, but for me, it's The Road of Bones. I
agree. I love The Road of Bones, man.
Love that
And
album.
hey, Scott, we got somebody in the peanut gallery checking me out, Googling me apparently while we're on the live stream. Yeah, that is me. I was in, we weren't called Amen at the time. We were called Disorderly Conduct, but yeah, that was me. I was in a precursor to Casey Chaos's Amen before he got signed to Virgin, all that stuff, and became a big old rock star. Yeah, that's me. So that's cool that people are actually checking you out in real time. So,
All right, I got 2 more real quick.
Yeah, man.
Mask
Floor's
by
yours.
Kansas.
Mask by Kansas. Awesome. Yeah.
Their best album. I'm sorry, it is. It's their best album. It's
I
when
agree
they,
with you.
It's when they finally got to the point where they really had figured out who they are, I think. And Steve Walsh could sing the phone book, and I would buy it. He's just the best there is. And then lastly, Hemispheres by Rush.
Woo!
Another masterpiece.
Absolute masterpiece.
The proggiest thing they ever did. Are there other albums that work? Yeah, but Hemispheres would be the one for me. So that's my top 5 and 10.
Beautiful.
Scott, that was an amazing list, man. Great pick.
Phenomenal list.
I had to pull out the box set of the anthology because you mentioned it and you made me think of it, and you got the little signature from Carl Palmer.
Nice.
Amazing list, dude. Great stuff.
Yes,
Nice.
indeed. Yes, indeed. And it's not like I'm bored of all you guys. Anyway, but whenever we get fresh meat, we get red meat up here on the panel, I tend to get a little bit excited. And that's why I do like to, rotate things around, because I get bored and I like to kind of keep things fresh. I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm just so excited, because if that weren't the case, we would not have the talents of Zoltan Vamos on the channel today. Zoltan, what is going on, man? I am so excited to hear this list. We've been talking about getting you on the channel for a while, and here you are.
Thank you. I was going. I didn't know that I could have a few honorable mentions, so I wrote up a few quickly.
Okay.
However, I'm gonna do these quick. However, now one's been stolen from me. I cannot mention The Road of Bones. I'll do that one first. So
mention it. Go ahead.
I could also mention Dark Matter. Great album, but I'm going
Yeah.
to go ahead and pick something that a lot of people I think is completely underrated. Are You Sitting Comfortably?
Yeah,
Phenomenal album.
Really?
Unreal.
Really?
I would say the first track isn't my favorite, but everything after that, I mean, listen to Nostalgia. That's straight off of Steve Hackett. There's so much Steve Hackett. There's never nothing at all is great. All those songs.
I'll go back and re-listen to it. It's been a while.
It's really good. It's the falling at the seams and nostalgia. That 10-minute song is just so good. I don't know how to say no to that one other than the opening track. I can turn that one off, but as soon as you get past that, brilliant. For a bit of a heavier sound, I went with I don't fully know how to pronounce this, Koi no Yoken by Deftones. I love
nice.
Rosemary. Very good song. I always found that song could have just been written by Porcupine Tree in my mind anyway.
Cool.
Good call.
I went with Stephen Wilson's The Raven That Refused to Sing. A little bit of cheating there, and you'll understand why. Weird pick. Alan Holdsworth's Wardenclyffe Tower.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Oh,
Cool.
that is a
Great
good one.
choice.
I love Alan Holdsworth, and I could listen to almost all of his solo discography, including UK.
Yep.
But man, that album just does something. It's so weirdly atmospheric. I don't know what it is about it. It's the weird atmospheres on that album that he does, and again, just phenomenal. And more.
For Alan, I gotta ask you something, Zoltan. So for Alan Holdsworth, have you heard his Beatles covers album that he did about 2 years ago?
Oh no.
It's really cool. You should check it out.
He's very cool. Yep, very cool.
I need to check out a few more. I was going to choose None Too Soon, which is also phenomenal, but the other one that I have here is Riverside's Love, Fear, and the Time Machine.
Yeah.
Phenomenal record. Absolutely brilliant. I don't know what it is about that, but they were just so subtly, had the prog sound that they always had, but they were more subtle, softer, had a little more of a, I don't know, almost keen sound in a way.
And the last album with the great guitar player, Peter. How do you pronounce his last name? I don't know.
I remember. Me neither.
Amazing.
Now
they're gonna kill me in the comments for not.
I know. Me too.
Guitar player for Riverside's name.
So to the main picks. I brought some CDs, and I'm going to list them in order from the ones I have here. So I will start with Porcupine Tree's In Absentia.
Nice. Ooh, nice one.
Absolutely phenomenal record. I don't know what song on here is bad. There's not one bad song on here. Trains, Blackest Eyes, Lips of Ashes, Sound of Music, great. Gravity Eyelids, Heart Attack in the Lay-By, Strip the Soul, Collapse the Light in the Earth. You can't argue with that. That's a phenomenal record song.
Flawless.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to pick. This one's a little bit different. Camel, I Can See Your House from Here.
Nice one.
I mean, maybe Remote Romance is a little bit cheesy, but what's wrong with it? Wait is great. Your Love is Stranger Than Mine is a nice soft pop prog ballady song.
They're getting super cheesy by this point, and let's not tiptoe around it. The band was going a little cheesy, but it worked for them.
It did. Eye of the Storm's great. Who We Are is brilliant, and Hymn to Her and Ice.
Ice just fantastic. Great guitar work.
Incredible.
And the cover, that cover is
the cover is phenomenal.
Great cover, absolutely, 100%. I'm going to go with
where are we at? What number are we at?
Number 3. The Flower King's Flower Power.
Ooh, nice one.
I could have gone with Banks of Eden. I could have gone with Banks of Eden. I could have gone with Stardust We Are. I could have gone with The Sum of No Evil because that one's phenomenal too.
Perfect.
But The Garden of Dreams is perfect.
It's got Garden of Dreams on it.
Literally, you can't argue with that. 60 minutes of pure beautiful. It's perfect. Even I understand why some people would be perturbed by the Thomas Bodine meddling with Hassa Brunison in the 10-minute section in the middle that they cut out in the live version. But I, for one, love that. The Gregorian chants, the beautiful Pink Floyd keyboard playing and sequencing and on that is so good. Plus, you have songs like Psychedelic Postcard, Magic Pie, Painter, Afterlife on the second disc. Again, basically as perfect.
Painter might be my favorite Flower King song.
It's so good.
It's just beautiful.
It is. It's absolutely phenomenal. Number 2, I am going to go with A Trick of the Tail by Genesis.
Yeah.
Good call, man.
I was going to go with Duke because I love Duke so much too.
I do too.
Duke's Week is so impossible to argue with, but no bad song on here. Dance on a Volcano, Entangled, Squonk, Madman Moon, Robbery, Assault and Battery. What? Yeah.
What do you want?
That's an amazing album, man.
Now, number 1 is I debated this because I switched it last second. I was going to pick Animals, but I went with Metal.
Oh, nice.
I love. Sorry.
Oh, just love that album. Go on.
I'm sorry. What's wrong with this album too? I love Animals just as much, maybe more, because it's an album filled with basically nothing but epics except for Pigs on the Wing. But One of These Days is great. A Pillow of Winds, oh, beautiful. Fearless is great. Even Saint-Tropez, Seamos, and Echoes is
Echoes.
Echoes. Yeah. Come on, it's metal. I think that's about it. That's my picks.
Unbelievable pick.
Great list.
You know, I'd say our boy did pretty good for his first time here at the rodeo. You know, I'd like to say he's moving up into the major leagues, but homeboy's been doing this a lot longer than I have. So I guess I'm the one who should be thankful that Zoltan joined us, and I'd say he is absolutely eligible for a return visit. What say you, panel?
Yeah.
We got the thumbs up.
Hey, you know what? Ontarians stick together, man. That's how this goes.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check out the score near next to Hamilton.
It's really funny that a guy I work with was getting into Genesis, and he asked what albums to listen to, and I said "Selling England by the Pound" or "Trick of the Tail."
Oh.
And he said he actually prefers Trick of the Tail because he hates Peter Gabriel's voice.
Oh, that's criminal.
I've heard that before.
I've heard it too. My first exposure
said he loves the instrumentation, just can't stand Peter Gabriel.
Wow.
I've heard the same with Geddy Lee. I've heard the same thing.
Peter Hamill.
Oh, yeah. How?
Don't get it. Don't understand, but
neither do
that's
I.
All right. Hey, the one and only Zeb has just subscribed to your channel, Zoltan. You see, that's what it's all about here, man. It's all about love and community. I'm going to tell you what kind of community of records that I'm going to bring with me onto my little old desert island. And even though I just picked it up yesterday, it will not be Taylor Swift. Is not coming with me onto the desert island. It's a shocker, but she is not invited to the desert island. But all rules are off. So, I could have picked 5 Yes albums, I make the rules so I could break them, but I thought about this one long and hard. This was the last one that stuck around. It's a triple album, so I'm looking for more bang for my buck. Double albums, triple albums. Well, I am not picking this one, but I am picking another live album. And I am not picking this particular triple album, but there will be a triple album. So think about that.
I know what it is.
I know what it is.
See what I'm talking about. The first thing I'm taking to my desert island is a little bit of XTC. And It's a double album. Wow, what a big surprise. I would pick the one that's got the most music on it. Yeah, it's English Settlement. It's perfect. I love it. I cannot live on a desert island without them. Gotta have them. Absolutely. I said that I was going to have you know what? Let's get the obvious ones out of the way first. Come on. You know I'm taking this with me. So at number 2, you know I'm taking Tales from Topographic Oceans with me. Yeah. Primarily because it's a double album and I love me some Yes and I want as much Yes as possible. But the fact that it's my favorite album of all time doesn't hurt. Pretty much everything that I just said, repeat, but insert Genesis instead of Yes. I just love this album. I Want As Much, Peter Gabriel, Phil Collins, Michael Rutherford, Tony Banks, and whoever else I forgot in the band.
Steve Hackett.
I want a 5-piece. That's why I'm not taking
Steve Hackett.
I forgot Steve Hackett. You know, but that's why I'm not taking a Trick of the Tail, because I want all of them there on the desert island with me. Okay, I said I was going to have a live album, but it was not Yes songs. So what's it going to be?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I'm lost. Yes.
Nice.
I got to have me a little bit of metal on the island. I absolutely do. And everybody knows Iron Maiden's my favorite metal band, so it's going to be Iron Maiden. And I want something, you know, as long as I can get. It's the only 5 albums I'm going to have till the day I die. So, you know, this album came out after Power Slave. They were at the absolute peak of their popularity, absolute peak of their power. And honestly, you could pick a set list at random from their first 5 albums, right? Just throw a dart at a dartboard, pick songs. That set list would be perfectly fine with me. But come on, man. Side 2 is Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, Power Slave, and Number of the Beast.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many times I played that side, man. That was just like constant rotation. The last great double live album of the vinyl era, 1985. It's coming on the desert island with me. And last but not least, I said I was going to do a triple album. And, you know, originally I would think that London Calling would get the nod here, but why go with a double album when you can do a triple album? It's the Clash's Sandinista. Ah, yeah. It might not be quite as good as London Calling, but it's 6 sides instead of 4. So, yeah, I'm taking Sandinista with me. In fact, it is a little bit more variety on here, a little bit more of a diverse album. They cover a lot more stylistic territory, from dub to, you know, to reggae, to even some like country and gospel stuff on here, a little bit of jazz, of course, a little bit of quasi-punk. It's Sandinista, and I love it. So that's coming on the desert island with me. And yeah, so I had to have a little bit of variety. I couldn't just do like 5 prog albums. You know, man can't live by prog alone. Well, yeah, you can. That's pretty much what I do. Hey, I just got this in the mail today. This is Broken Bridges.
Oh.
They are a prog band out of Poland. So, hey, he signed it for me and everything.
Wow.
So I will be listening to this. Let you guys know if it's any good. I won't steer you wrong. We don't do that around here.
No.
You know, we shoot straight in the prog corner. So, Cody, what do you have planned this week? What's going on Brockway's Vinyl Bites and your numerous radio shows?
Well, tonight, I know I'm going to be listening to that new Mythologic CD I just received. Well, both of them. much appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just going to be, there we go. I'm going to be playing the good tunes. As I said earlier, I actually have 2. I'm actually going to be touching on some of this in my next radio show, at least 1 or 2 tracks. At least the one with Florence Welch, because I love Florence Welch. So I've got 2 radio shows that I do every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern. I do a 90-minute show over on Prog Radio typically, and I do a 3-hour show on Deep Nuggets Radio every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you're in Ireland, that's like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Great.
And the channel, I do a live stream typically every Saturday. I think Scott Davis is going to be on the one this coming weekend.
All right. I know that guy.
Yeah, I know that guy too. And yeah, so in just whatever comes, we're going to be doing more drum covers, in the time coming. And I actually just did one on my favorite keyboardists. So if you haven't checked that out, I would recommend it. And subscribe to Brockway's Vinyl Bites. I definitely recommend it.
Do it. Absolutely. Subscribe to everybody's channel here, but we'll keep reminding as we go around the horn. Wayne, you may not have a radio show yet, but I know you've got not one, but 2 YouTube channels. I can barely handle one, so I don't know how you do it. So what do you got planned this week over on your endeavors?
This week on Puckville Heap, going to be getting back into some reactions. Thought about doing some more Bjork stuff. Also looking to venture off into different areas of music. Just kind of, I finally decided I'm going to give punk and I'm going to give grunge a fair listen and really see if I like them or what.
Grunge is great. And then Garden is excellent stuff.
And then on Prisms of Prague, I've been listening to so much music lately that I've started to kind of compile some top 5, top 10 lists, some album rankings. Probably going to be putting some of that out, and going to be doing a video on Sabotage, actually, and thought I'd get it out last week, but just all the recording kind of working on music kind of got in the way. But going to come up with Sabotage, and quite honestly, are they one of the greatest American prog bands?
Cool. That's going to be fun. And I think there's probably maybe some validity to that claim.
Because I know Metallica said they were influenced by Sirens when it came out, and I thought about it a lot. And if you listen to Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good, would Last Rites and Love to Death and Looking Down the Cross have come out without Sabotage's influence?
That's a crazy album. That Megadeth one, that album's nuts.
What, Killing Is My Business?
Yeah.
And Business Is Good.
Yeah, I love that record. Yeah, it's great.
Me too. Awesome stuff, Wayne. Looking forward to it as always. Fabulous content coming out of Alberta, no less. Just proving that there's talent strewn across the globe. And even some, we got Florida man with us. And Scott, what's your week looking like this week? What do you got going
on? Finishing up bass guitars for the next Myth of Logic. This was Pictures from Previous Dream. It came out New Year's Eve. Surrounded by Ghosts. Came out November 11th of 2022. I'm looking to get the album released in September of this year.
Nice.
Finishing up bass guitars and Taurus pedals for probably the next week, maybe 2. The new album is it's really shaping up. I'm really, really happy with it. Some of the longest pieces I've written. There's one piece that's 14 minutes. That's definitely the longest thing I've ever written. It's called A Construct of Delusion. And I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. I'm always, whenever you're writing music and putting out music, what you're working on at the time and your newest stuff is always your favorite. But I just really feel like, this ties up my trilogy in a nice way. And
I can't wait because the first 2 really, really good. Check it out if you fools haven't yet. It's Myth of Logic. Yes, he is self-glossing with the t-shirt on. And yes, he did ask permission ahead of time to see if that was just perhaps a bit too crass.
Yeah.
And I said, no, man. This is prog. If you're not tooting your own horn, ain't nobody going to. So yes, absolutely. And we got the hottest stars on YouTube with us. And I just cannot thank you guys enough for your participation in our little show today. But we've got Dermot and Tara from Spinning Prog. Man, you guys are just on fire right now.
Heck yeah.
What's going on?
I don't know how, Scott. I don't know how. We're just kind of being ourselves anyway, and that's it, But yeah, I mean, we've got. I'm going to try. Scott Davis, I've got to talk to you on the show. I mean, we've got to have a chat.
Great, I'd love to. I would absolutely love to.
Because after I listened to the first album, after I listened to the first album, I went to put the second one on, and I was so exhausted that I couldn't actually listen to it. I was just worn out from the first one, so it was amazing. So yeah, I mean, we're looking at getting a few people on and having a few chats with different people, which should be interesting.
Awesome.
But
anytime you want.
We're talking about what our next video is going to be, and we can't agree. So I'm going to shame her on air, and I'm going to say what it is. The next one is going to be sophomore albums. Okay, we're going to do a video on sophomore albums. So watch out for that. It'll be coming up in the next day or two. Okay,
that's a good one.
She's shaking her head like she had a change of heart. Like maybe the topic is okay with her now, or maybe like you said, you're just shaming her in front of everybody, and she's afraid to actually speak her mind. Either way,
no, she's not.
What you think, Tara? Sophomore album?
Yeah, great.
Oh my God.
She looks really pleased about that one, Dermot. That's all right. You got a long night ahead of you, a lot of splaining to do. Zoltan, man, what is going on? What do you got planned? What can we look forward to? Hopefully we can get some new people going your way, tuning into your channel. What do they have to look forward to?
I'm gonna be continuing my worst to best very soon. I'm also working on more drum covers. Dad and I are working on Benjamin's Kite 3, so that's coming out pretty. We want it to come out this year. We all Ingenious Cacophonies and Antediluvian Euphonies are all on pretty much every other platform. So if anyone's interested, go ahead and listen. I think other than that, I don't have very much going on.
I just wanted you to keep talking because your mic sounds absolutely lovely. Compared to some of the audio issues that we've had here on the Sunday Prog stream. Not going to mention any names, but you know who you are, both on the panel and in the peanut gallery. This was a great show today.
It was.
In no small part because of our brand new, our debutante, as it were, his first trip. This was a cotillion, a little coming out party for Zoltan, and I think he did an outstanding job. Now, just remember, boys and girls, next week on the Sunday Prog stream, yes, of course it will be live. Yes, of course it's Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern, and we will be talking about the Beatles, man. How fun is that? We're going to be talking about the Beatles, their best songs, their proggiest songs. Apparently, all this week over on Prog Radio, Kevin is doing Beatles Week. So that's going to be really exciting. I'm going to make myself big and take this thing home. We know you love yourself some Abbey Road, and I do too, and that's all right. But anyway, fools, Kevin might be doing Beatles Week over there on Prog Radio, but I am doing the Tangent Week. Tomorrow on the channel, an interview with Andy Tillison, and then Tuesday I'm reviewing the brand new Tangent album, To Follow Polaris, and then on Wednesday I'm going to rank all the Tangent albums. So yeah, I'm going off in my own direction. I'm going off on a tangent is what I'm doing on the Prog Corner this week. It's going to be awesome. Anyway, fools, I love you. Peace in the Middle East. God save the king. Save him. Save that little guy. He needs your help. He's not doing so good. He's got the cancer. Yeah, he sure does. He needs your help. Thoughts and prayers for the king. Absolutely. And then bring that boy to America where we're going to have some thoughts and hopes and prayers. And our prayer warriors are going to work overtime. And then we're going to lay some hands on him. Yes, we are. We're going to lay hands on him, and he's going to be cured. We're going to do some spells and incantations, and we're going to dance with snakes. Snake dance. And then everything's going to be all right. The house of winter will rise again. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Andy Tillison right here in the Prog Corner. Peace.